Hi guys, Luke Jones here, back for DartsMad, and today I'm delighted to be joined by PDC Tour card holder Gary Blades. Thanks for coming on, Gary.
No problem, that's no problem at all.
So basically, I'm going to start off in January when this journey started at the Q School. Going into Q School, did you think you could do what you actually went and done?
Well, not on the first day. I didn't. That was never even part of the equation. Winning a tour card day one, but I'd won a few competitions back end of last year. I'd won a few local stuff, and then I won the Leicestershire Open in December. So I knew I was playing well. So I think my plan really was to try and get enough points to have a chance on the Sunday, to be like within 2 or 3 points, just to have a chance. But obviously, it didn't work out. So the Thursday's a bit of a blur now, really. I can't really remember a lot of it.
So did you surprise yourself really about well you did on the first day, and then you find yourself in the last game? What are you thinking?
Well, I couldn't really remember much about it. I can, like the early part of the day, it was just, I've got a point, I've got another point. And then it was the last 32 I played Lisa Ashton.
Yeah.
I was feeling, because I should have beat her on a challenge tour the year before, and I was 4-2 up against her, and I went to jelly, to be honest. So I'm very confident in winning that. And once I'd won that, it's like, well, I only need to win like another 3 games.
Yeah.
And that's when I was thinking, right, come on, just get it done today now. That was the first time I actually considered the fact that I could win it on that day.
Yeah.
And then we got to the last match. Again, it's all a bit of a blur, but it was one of the worst games I've played all day. But thankfully, I played Tony Newell, and thankfully he played awful as well. So, looking at the stats, first few legs were terrible, but I picked it up towards the end, and then it goes even more blurry. I can't remember much about it. It's really strange.
So coming from that venue, then, what's your thought process? Did it sink in straight away, or did it take a while?
It probably took a few days. I think on the night we went out for a meal and a couple of drinks afterwards, and I was shattered, to be honest. I just went to bed. I didn't sleep much thinking about it all, and then I went home the next day, and it started to sink in the next few days over the weekend, looking at all the dates that I needed to plan for, and and then it was just right, best practice now, because you don't want to embarrass yourself. Need a lot of practice.
And I bet you were thinking, thank God I haven't got to play on the weekend.
Well, it was a nice short. I could go home. I went able to watch the football on the Saturday, so that was nice. So, it made it a shorter weekend, less expensive.
Yeah. So obviously, then you play your first game on the Pro Tour. You got off to a dream start, beating Peter Jakes 6-3, and then you run into Peter Wright in the second round. So what's the emotions like? Because you win that first game, your confidence must be sky high, and then you see that you're playing the reigning world champion.
It was a bit strange, because Peter Jakes is probably the only person that I actually knew that had a tour card before I got there. So, and then to draw him was weird.
Yeah.
All the players, and I have to draw him. But obviously, I beat him. It was a really good game. The averages don't really reflect how good a game it was, because we had one terrible leg, which I won in 32 darts, I think, which both of us just missed a million darts a double. Without that, would have been mid to high 90s average. But it was a really good game. And then, Peter Wright, and I can't remember what his average was against me, but it was big. It was like, right, that's the top end. That's what you've got to compete with. So, but it was obviously nice to have won it before I got to play him.
That's always the dream, innit? When you get your tour card, you want to test yourself against the best players.
That's it. You want to play them all, but I'd rather play them all second round, third round.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a slightly easier game in the first round and get some money.
Yeah. You waited to play a championship 4 for your next win against Mike van Dijvenbode. And again, there's a bit of deja vu. You ran into Peter Wright again. You must have been thinking, what have I done to deserve this?
Yeah, I was getting a bit sick of him second time. And yeah, he didn't play as well, but I think I went 1-0 up. And then I just went to bits. And I had chances in some of the legs, but I just didn't take them. So, yeah, at least I got one leg this time. So hopefully when I play him again next year, I can maybe get
Keep
6.
them legs going up in the right direction.
Well, to be fair, I spoke to him afterwards and I said, next time I get 2 and we'll keep going until I actually beat you. And he said, no, you won't.
Classic Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had a decent year. You've made a couple of board finals. You've beaten some very capable names such as Darren Webster, Robert Thornton, Scott Waite, Dimi van den Berg. Obviously, he was a world match play champion. Are you happy with your first year on tour?
I was happy up to lockdown. Because I'd done all right in the eight tournament, well, 8 Players Championships. I'd won £3,000, and it put me 61st in the Players Championship Order of Merit. Kind of trying to get to the top 64 of that was kind of my sort of aim. I tried not to have too many aims because playing in that company, you can't really, you know, every game's hard, so you can't bargain anything. But I was quite happy up to there. I was playing fairly well. I was a bit disappointed how I played at the UK Open and not qualifying for the Euro Tour.
Yeah.
And obviously lockdowns happened, and I just don't think playing every few months just doesn't suit me, which is one of them things. It's the same for everyone. But I've only won £2,000 since, so I tend to get myself towards back end of the weeks, like the summer series, the autumn series, and the winter series. Obviously, I seem to win my games towards the back end of the week once I've been playing.
Yeah.
But not having competitive practice, it doesn't suit my game. I'm not a good practicer at the best of times, so I practice at home. It doesn't do my confidence any good because I have little bursts where I play well and then a lot of rubbish in the middle. So, but I've always done that. So, I mean, proper games all the time.
Yeah.
That we've not had, but there's nothing we can do about it. So,
I was going to say, it must be so disappointing that your first year on tour, you've won a tour card, has been disrupted so much by this pandemic.
Yeah, it is. It is disappointing, but there's worse things going on in the world than me moaning about me not being able to play darts properly. So I try not to moan about it because there's a lot of people worse off than me.
Yeah, it is a shame though, because obviously we've only played 4 Euro Tours out of the 13, which we would have had. And the Euro Tour, if you can qualify for a few of those, it puts you in good position to qualify for tournaments like the Players' Championship finals, the Worlds. So that's disappointing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was most looking forward to, trying to qualify for a few Euro Tours and playing in front of them kind of crowd. I've never done before, so I want to experience, but it's been obviously not possible this year. But hopefully next year, fingers crossed, in a few months, everything's a little bit back to normal and we can go back to how it should be.
Yeah, and obviously during the disruption, and even when you've had like the summer series and stuff, we've had the home tour. Obviously you played a few times in that. What's that been like for you? Because even though you're not playing, you're not going to the venues, you're still playing against these top players.
It's hard. I try and get myself motivated as if it's a real match in a real tournament, and I don't seem to be able to do it. There was a couple of the home tours in the September time. I played a bit better, and and I thought maybe, but it's really hard. It doesn't suit me, and I've been trying to play little tournaments here and there when I can, just to keep my match practice. Because other than if I don't do that, I've got nothing. So I'm trying to play a few tournaments at home when I can, just to keep me going. But I'm not doing very well in them, so expected.
It's hard really to replicate the tournament play normal, isn't it? Because you've got to wait for the guy to finish his end, and then you go. You can't really get the correct rhythm.
Yeah, and there's lots of distractions as well. Like you know, a bang out the window, or my cats start fighting outside in the hallway. So you know, there's things go on. But again,
you don't quite get them sort of things in the venues. Do you? Cats fighting?
No, no, thankfully not. No.
Yeah, looking back on your first year now, you've completed it. I know it hasn't been great with the pandemic, but looking back now, what are your aims for next year?
If it's a normal year, same really. Try and get somewhere around the top 64 in the ProTour, Players Championship Order of Merit. Try and get a few Euro tours. Do better at the UK Open. That's something I really want to, you know, because hopefully with my ranking now for the second year, unless I have a disaster in the first few Pro Tours, I should be in the second round. So I should only need one game for some money. So try and do a bit better in that, and just get more consistent. Really. My game, my best game, you know, is good enough to compete, but my bottom game is what I've got to get right. So I need to I'm trying to sort my throw out a little bit because it's inconsistent. My grip changes, so I'm trying to get darts where my grip is the same all the time. Trying to move a little bit less because I'm a little bit John Henderson-y with my throw. I'm not quite as rocky as him, but I do rock. So trying to get that a little bit more. So it don't break down quite so often. Because I have 2 or 3 legs where I'm hitting, 13, 14 darters.
Yeah.
And then I'll not be able to find a treble for 3 legs. And it's, it's the consistency. That's what I lack, which hopefully next year with a more normal year when we're playing every other weekend or something, then I'll be, get into a bit of a rhythm and be playing a little bit better.
And that is the difference between the top guys and the guys lower in the rankings, and they can do it frequently. And then, obviously, you say yourself, you can have off legs. Yeah,
that's it. It's just trying to, get a more consistent throw. So I'm throwing the same every single dart, because I think that's probably the key to it. You look at the top players; they don't seem to change very much between. Well, you've got the odd one or two that we might snatch a last start a little bit or fall forward with it, but most of the players, the throw's exactly the same every throw. It's just it will breed consistency in them.
Do you believe you can get in that top 64 now next year and keep that to a card?
It's going to be very, very hard.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to qualify for the World Championships to have any chance, but it's not impossible. So if I had a good run at the UK Open, qualified for a few Euro tours, got in the Players Championships and qualified for World Championships, it's a lot that I've got to do, and it's going to be very hard. But I've still got 1 year left, so do my best and see what happens. And if not, then I'll go back to Q School and try and do it again.
Yeah, well, obviously now you can come through Q School, so if you do have to go back, you'll have that confidence then. You'll think, I can do this. Yeah,
exactly. I've done it, I've done it. I went to Q School twice. I've done terrible once, and I've got straight through. So, and obviously, assuming the rules for next year's Q School stay the same the year after, then at least I'll know I'm into the last 4 days. I won't have to get the stage, so that'll probably help. That I'll be going in fresh for the last days, and loads of the others will have been battling away because I've known from the all the winter series where we had a qualifier, and so it was 6 days. You get to day 5, day 6, it's a bit of a slog, So we'll see what happens anyway. Hopefully it will come to that, but I think I need a World Championship 3rd, 4th round or something like that. So.
Obviously, well, you mentioned the Worlds is going on at the moment. You did go to qualifying. I think you lost in the first round, was it, to Matthew Edgar?
Yeah, I did,
So next year, you must be thinking,
Yeah, it'd be nice. Fingers crossed. Obviously, it was a pretty good chance this year, really, because there were 6 qualifiers.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. So, but no, I didn't play well against Matt. I did manage to take 4 legs off him, but his throw was 13, 14 darters. He was, I was nowhere near him on his throw, and I was just hanging on to my throw really. So, I just didn't play well enough on that day. But fingers crossed next year. But you never know, if I can qualify for a few Euro tours and do well enough in the Pro Tours, I might not even need to go to the qualifiers. That's one aim that'll be at the back of my mind for next year. Hopefully, at least even if I lost my tour card, just to experience the World Championships, and especially if there's a crowd next year, which fingers crossed there will be. That'd be really good.
It does show though that obviously you lost to Matthew Edgar. You took 4 legs off him, so you run him close, and Matthew Edgar went on to qualify. So it does show you're not a million miles away, are you?
No, it tends to be sometimes what I do. I can not play my best game, but I can keep games close.
Yeah.
But just if I can just hang on to my darts, but it's against the throw really. That's where I need to kick in, and sometimes when he didn't miss much at a double, and his scoring was good. And I think there was one leg, the third leg, I remember it, because he broke me the first leg, and I broke him back the second leg, so we're at 1-1, and I was in front the third leg.
Yeah.
And I scored 60, but it was really a 180. 2 of my darts fell out.
Oh no.
Little things like that, I've got to get round my head sometimes, because I think that affected me for about a leg and a half afterwards. Yeah. And by then I'm 3-1 down. So, and I've got to break him and never ever look like breaking him after that. So the little things like that mentally, as well as my throw, I've got to sort. I think I've got to sort of letting little things affect me during games. Sometimes it's concentration as well. My mind can just wander a little bit, which I've got to try and sort out, because the top players, that don't happen to them. So it's all right having a perfect throw as well, but you've got to have your mind, you've got to be mentally into it. I lack a little bit in that, which I suppose because I'm kind of not new, because I played back in the day in the PDC before there was tour cards, but the first time I've been at this level for a long, long time. So maybe that's something. Maybe in the second year I can sort out. And it's weird because sometimes when you're playing well, you're in a zone as well.
Yeah.
Like when
I feel like you can't miss.
When I played Dimitri in the Winter Series for the first, 5 or 6 legs, I felt like I was in that zone. I was focused. I felt like the treble was just there to be hit. But then in the last 2 legs, I don't know, maybe I got a little bit too excited, but I started thinking about the fact that I'm about to be, the world number, I think he was world number 11 at the time.
Yeah.
The match play champion, I'm about to beat him. And I wasn't really focusing on how he was playing at all. And now I started focusing on that instead of, and I crawled over the line in the end. But he should have been 5-3 and ended up finally hitting the double to win it. Since little things like that, that's concentrate for the whole game and not let my mind wander a little bit.
I'm gonna leave it with one last question, and it's one that I ask everyone, and it's something that's gonna make you think here. So I hope you got your brain working.
I don't know if I have.
Who are your top 5 greatest players of all time, going from number 5 right down to number 1?
Okay. 2, 3. Got my top 3. I think the top 3 are probably the easy 3, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, number 5, I'll go Bob Anderson.
Yeah.
Number 4, I'll go John Lowe.
Yeah.
I'm probably going slightly further back than I probably should. Number 3, Michael van Gerwen.
Yeah.
Although he's close between 2 and 3. Number 2, Eric Bristow.
Yeah.
On Phil Taylor, you can't really argue with 16-time being number 1.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good 5 players there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a few players around now, Gary Anderson and Peter Wright.
Obviously you've got Barney who's retired now.
Yeah, I didn't even think of Barney. I should have done really. Yeah, Barney. Well, he's retired, but we'll see, won't we? We'll see if he.
Oh yeah, he's right. He says he's going to King's School, so we'll see.
We'll see. I think he'll find it hard, but
yeah, definitely.
He gets a tour card because I'd like to play him. So
anyway, thank you again for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
I just want to wish you all the best for your second year, and hopefully you can rack up a few more good wins.
Cheers. I'll try my best. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Gary, and have a nice Christmas.
Good on to you. Happy Christmas.
Cheers, mate. Bye.